Hey Josh, it's Mark. So I've got the file that you sent, and I flattened one of the surfaces, and this is it. The highlight yellow is laid up against your surface, so I mean it's fairly close, but there is some differences. So um, don't know exactly. Um, he said the other software is a little bit not working well, so I don't know if the parts are too big, too small, whatever. But as I said, this yellow piece is one that came out of our software. And I'll show you. So basically, just open up the file that you sent. Give me a second here. So this is the piece. Here. Now if I flatten it, in exact flat's a mesh flattener, so I can flatten a surface, but what it's going to actually do is it's going to use the create its own mesh, or I could just make a mesh in Rhino and select the mesh, and then we basically have some meshing tools over here. So we have a mesh validator, so I can validate to see if the mesh is good, and if the mesh is good, I'll say right here that the mesh is valid. Then I can do an adaptive remesh of the mesh, and that's just going to simplify the mesh. So this is another one of our tools. You can see over here in the mauve that it's created that. Then I'd weld the vertices, and then I would flatten the part. So I weld the vertices, and I flatten the part. The problem is, and I'll show you, when I go to flatten the piece, it's all separate pieces. So it's like that, flatten it, and you can see it's basically all these single pieces. So you may want to join the surfaces and flatten it that way. Of course, I can, if I go into my layers, I can, here's the exact flat pattern, which is all these pieces. So I can just turn off all the rest of these things here. And I mean, I can go in and I have join tools, so um, we're able to go in and we can join pieces together. I guess that's probably not one of the pieces I want to join, but just trying to find the pieces I did for that bottom part. Anyway, I think you get the point. It'd be better if you could just make the surfaces like single surfaces, or because if I flatten it, it's going to flatten everything out like this, and it's not really the greatest to work with, as you can imagine. This is that one surface I was doing. So I could just join this up again and show you. I think. So this is that one I just showed you at the beginning of the video. Oh, didn't want to bring that one in. So here's the surface. Um, I'll show you another thing that basically in our software we run an FEA analysis on the parts. So if I go into my legend, um, basically white is zero strain on a part, and blue is cyan is 5%, and that goes 10, 15, 20%, and gray is sag. So these are developable surfaces. So if I just spring it or optimize it, it's going to go all white. So that basically says that that's a good piece. Um, and I mean the holes show up. Whoops, we got all the holes in here. So everything, I think everything's good. Just if you can make the surfaces so when you flatten them, they're all join those surfaces so you don't have to join them in our software. That'd be the best. Um, and I think that's about it. Trying to think if there's anything else. Anyway, I'll save this piece out as a DXF so you can match it and see how it looks um, compared to the pieces that you have. So I'll send you that one piece and let me know what you think. All right, look, have a good evening. Thanks again, and look forward to working with you guys.